Hello and welcome to the GCSE History Options presentation. My name is Mr. Gisby. I'm the Head of History here at Seaford College and I will be leading you through this presentation. You could be taught by me next year unless I get pregnant and leave Seaford College, or you'll be taught by one of our wonderful team, which is Miss Thomas, Mr. Hurst or Mr. Wilson, who you're probably all familiar with. Every single one of us is a dedicated, passionate history teacher, and whatever teacher you have now, I'm sure you'll love whoever your teacher will be next year. Now, I think the most enticing part of our subject is the course content. And if I'm being honest, this is what will make you want to do history and is what will make it enjoyable. Because our entry requirements are really that you enjoy GCSE history. And I think the 4 modules that we've put together here will mean that it doesn't matter who you are or what your interests are, you will really enjoy and love doing our course. So we start off in 1918 with the USA, and we have a look at US history from the end of the First World War up until their entrance into the Second. And it's a period known as the Roaring Twenties, and it's a fascinating period. We have a look at gangsters, prohibition, we have a look at flappers and sport and music, we have a look at the Great Depression, and we have a look at Roosevelt and how he dealt with that. Now this is perfect because it complements your English studies really well, particularly of mice and men. It gives that all-important historical context. We then carry on with Germany, and we start in Germany in 1918, and it's the course that I think everyone does up and down the country. They will have done it for the last 20 years, they'll be definitely doing it for the next 50 or 60, and it's Nazi Germany. We have a look at Hitler, how he came to power. We have a look at what he did once he was in power, how he changed Germany. We have a look at how he changed the women, the children, the youth, how he rearmed, how he then went to war, and we look at how much Nazism affected Germany. And actually, it's one of those really interesting things because people don't realise how deep that link goes. So Hugo Boss, for example, designed Nazi uniforms. Fanta is a Nazi drink because the Germans couldn't get any Coke syrup from America anymore. Volkswagen was a really successful people's car, and same as Adidas as well. So all of these companies that we look at today have really Germanic and Nazi historic roots. And actually that's one of the that's one of the interesting elements of this module, that you can see how much it affects today. We then have a look at civil rights in the USA. Now, civil rights in the USA is a really interesting topic because it looks at how divided US society was from the end of the Second World War to 1974, which means we have a look, as you can see in this video here, we have a look at the Vietnam protests. We have a look at the McCarthyism and the fear of communism. We have a look at Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and how they desegregated and brought equal rights between black people and white people in America. And it means that actually there's a bit of everything in this unit. There's some political history, some social history, some military history as we get to look at the Vietnam War, etc. So that's a really interesting unit. And then finally, we finish off with changes in medicine, which is a thematic unit, which means we study it through time. We have a look at how surgery improved through time. So there's a picture there of a surgeon, someone being operated on, and they're being held down because that's their form of anaesthetics, okay, holding someone down, getting them to bite on something. We then look at how that evolves and how a lot of modern medicine is actually dominates this period and how it's improved upon. Now, what I like about these 4 elements is that actually there's something for everybody. There's military history, there's social history, there's political history, there's cultural, and it's quite diverse in what we look at. And I think that this is particularly important because it means that whilst not every lesson will please everybody, actually across the whole 2 years, people will have enjoyed what they've studied. Equally, I know the weakness of this is it's all 20th century based, but what it does mean is that students actually have a really good in-depth understanding of the century that has come to shape this current century the most. And then actually what we find is that they have a thorough and deep understanding. Whereas if we had a unit on the Normans and then a unit on the Tudors and then a unit of a modern unit, actually what we find is that students have a haphazard version of history that they don't really fully understand. Now, why should you choose history? Well, first off, because of the passionate, enthusiastic teachers, and believe me, we are passionate and enthusiastic. Also, the content is really interesting. We make it really interesting. We're in love with our subject, and we really do think it's something worth studying. Particularly, it's not just the content, but you get to develop your written communication. Okay, it's a versatile, respected subject, so it doesn't matter what you want to do at A-level, history is well looked upon, and it's the same at university, and it supports lots of different A-level subjects. And then finally, this is what most important for me, is that actually you need to understand the past, as you guys are future leaders of society, and therefore you have the responsibility to change the future. We are assessed across 2 exams. There are no coursework. Each exam is worth 50%, and as you can see, each topic is half of the exam, so basically each topic is worth 25%. Each topic has 3 questions, which is normally 2 short answer questions and 1 essay. The reason why I say normally is that, as you can see, in medicine there's just 2 short answer questions and a slightly shorter essay. So what we have is really 52% of the marks are essay based, and that's really important to know, because that's our second sort of entry requirement, is you need to understand that there is a significant amount of marks available from essays. And whilst that doesn't limit you, you can still get slightly lower in the essays and do really well in the short questions, and therefore still get 6. You need to understand that you will be expected to write essays in class, and you will be expected to do that fairly regularly. Now, that doesn't mean you have to enjoy essays. I certainly still don't enjoy essays now. However, you need to be aware that is a commitment you're going to have to make. Now, what do we expect? Well, really that you enjoy history, you're open-minded, you're willing to listen and engage, you're going to work hard, but most importantly, you're going to complete our regular timed exam questions. You will find that the exams in history are not that stressful because you've done lots of questions, and we do them fairly regularly and low stakes, which means we never put that much emphasis on the results of them. We put emphasis on the feedback and what you can do to improve. And that means that actually by the time of the exam, you're doing incredibly well. Equally, we want you to complete a facts test every single at the end of each chapter and each unit. And these facts tests are just knowledge recall tests. Again, we don't really log these. They're just down to showing you that you can remember stuff as well as apply it. Now, in terms of future pathways, and you'll be glad to hear near the end of the presentation, well, actually, history supports most A-level choices, most degree choices, most institutions like it because of your ability to write coherent essays, arguments, your ability to analyse, and just your knowledge of the world in general, and it really, really helps. And that means that quite a few famous people have degrees in history. So this man here is Louis Theroux. He's a really well-respected journalist. Then we have the comedians such as Al Murray and Sacha Baron Cohen, who are both history graduates from Oxford and Cambridge. Politicians tend to have them. Gordon Brown, Diane Abbott and George Bush all had history degrees. And even Shakira has a history degree, an honorary history degree, I should say. Quite know how she got it and how much she loves history, I don't know. But it shows you that history really opens up many a door for you. So, hopefully I've given you a good insight and at least sold the subject to you. And I do think actually it is one worth doing. And I think that most people in Year 9 are able to do it. And I think you should do it, and that's the key question. You should be doing it. Now, if you have any questions regarding the content of the course, please just contact me using my email on the screen, or equally, when we have the Year 9 options evening, feel free to log into the Zoom call and ask me any questions at all. There are no dumb questions. The only questions I can answer now is, no, we don't offer a parents course, as popular as that would be. We just unfortunately don't have the time. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the future.